Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Gamer Grind, your go-to channel for in-depth game reviews, tips, and everything in between. Today, we're diving into the icy depths of Frostpunk 2, a game that promises to push your strategic skills to the limit. We'll be breaking down the story, gameplay, graphics, and more. Stick around for our final review score at the end. You won't want to miss it. Let's start with the story and setting, which are central to the Frostpunk experience. Frostpunk 2 is set in a world where the Earth is frozen over and humanity is struggling to survive in the face of overwhelming odds. As the leader of a city on the brink of collapse, it's up to you to make the tough decisions that will determine the fate of your people. This sequel takes place several years after the events of the first game. The world is still cold, but the struggle for survival has evolved. The big question now is whether to pursue oil as a new source of energy, a choice that could have devastating consequences for both your city and the environment. The narrative is rich with moral dilemmas, forcing you to weigh the needs of the many against the cost of progress. The storytelling is compelling, drawing you into a world where hope is scarce and every decision carries a heavy burden. Now, let's talk about gameplay, which is where Frostpunk 2 really shines. The game retains the core mechanics of the original, with a focus on city building, resource management, and survival. But this time around, the stakes feel even higher. You'll need to balance the needs of your people, keeping them warm, fed, and healthy, while also expanding your city and exploring the frozen wastelands for vital resources. One of the standout features of Frostpunk 2 is its decision-making system. Every choice you make can have a ripple effect, leading to unforeseen consequences down the line. Do you invest in new technologies to ensure the long-term survival of your city, or do you focus on the immediate needs of your citizens? Do you pursue oil to fuel your city's growth, knowing it could spell disaster for the environment? These are the kinds of questions that will keep you on your toes throughout the game. The gameplay is challenging but rewarding, with a steep learning curve that will test your strategic thinking. But when you succeed, when you see your city thriving against all odds, it's incredibly satisfying. Visually, Frostpunk 2 is a stunning game. The graphics have seen a noticeable upgrade from the original, with more detailed environments, realistic weather effects, and a dynamic day-night cycle that adds to the game's atmosphere. The frozen landscapes are beautifully rendered, making you feel the harshness of the world you're trying to survive in. The city building aspect is also visually impressive. As your city grows, you'll see it transform from a small outpost into a sprawling metropolis, with smoke rising from chimneys, lights flickering in the darkness, and people bustling around trying to stay warm. The level of detail is amazing, and it really helps to immerse you in the game's world. But it's not just about looking good. Frostpunk 2 uses its visuals to enhance the gameplay. The dynamic weather system isn't just for show. It affects how you manage your city. When a blizzard rolls in, you'll need to scramble to keep your people warm, and when the sun finally breaks through the clouds, there's a sense of relief that's almost palpable. Sound plays a crucial role in Frostpunk 2, helping to build the game's tense, oppressive atmosphere. The soundtrack is hauntingly beautiful, with sweeping orchestral pieces that unleash the gravity of your situation. It's the kind of music that stays with you long after you've stopped playing. The ambient sounds of the game, howling winds, creaking ice, the distant chatter of your citizens, further immerse you in the frozen world. You can almost feel the cold seeping through your screen as you play. The voice acting is minimal but effective, with key moments of dialogue that add to the narrative's weight. Overall, the sound design is top-notch, enhancing every aspect of the game. One of the things that sets Frostpunk 2 apart from other city-building games is its replayability. Every playthrough can be different, depending on the choices you make. Will you focus on the well-being of your citizens, or will you push them to their limits in pursuit of progress? Will you explore every inch of the frozen wasteland, or will you concentrate on building up your city's defenses? The game encourages experimentation, and the multiple endings mean there's plenty of reason to come back for more. But be warned, Frostpunk 2 is not an easy game. The challenges you face are relentless, and it's all too easy to make a decision that leads to disaster. But that's part of the appeal. The difficulty makes every victory feel earned, and every failure teaches you something new. Since its release, Frostpunk 2 has received a lot of attention from the gaming community. Fans of the original have praised the sequel for staying true to the core experience while introducing new elements that keep things fresh. The game's difficulty has been a point of discussion, with some players loving the challenge and others finding it a bit too punishing. But overall, the feedback has been positive, with many players calling it a worthy successor to the original. So, where does that leave us? Is Frostpunk 2 a game worth your time and money? Let's wrap up with our final review score. After spending hours in the frozen wasteland of Frostpunk 2, it's clear that this game is something special. It's challenging, it's immersive, and it's incredibly satisfying when you get things right. The story is compelling, the gameplay is deep and rewarding, and the graphics and sound design are top-notch. However, the steep difficulty curve might not be for everyone, and there are moments when the game's harshness can feel a bit overwhelming. But if you're up for the challenge and you love a game that makes you think, Frostpunk 2 is definitely worth playing. For our final review, we're giving it a 9 out of 10. It's a brilliant sequel that improves on the original in almost every way, offering a gripping, atmospheric experience that will keep you coming back for more. What did you think of Frostpunk 2? Did it live up to your expectations, or did you find yourself left out in the cold? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.